When it comes to learning how to shade a face, the Asaro head is a very useful tool, but maybe it's not always as easy as it seems. For a beginner, even the basic Asaro head can maybe be a little bit hard to understand. There's so many planes, big planes and small planes, and you might ask yourself, where the hell do I put all those shadows? Luckily, there is a way to make it way easier. You simplify. How do you do that? Well, use just two values. Instead of using a huge value scale that goes from very bright tones to very dark tones, use just one bright tone and one dark tone. This helps you learn the basics of shading from the ground up, because it minimizes the decisions you have to make. You either make a plane bright or you make it dark. The goal here is to clearly separate light and shadow. So go ahead and draw the Asaro head, or for the sake of this exercise, maybe just trace one from Google, and try to paint it using just two values. You can of course start drawing from reference images, but the goal here is to later draw many of these studies from imagination, of course. To get better, you need to do many of these and do them from different angles and different lighting angles. So draw it from the front, draw it from the side, and then use different directions of the light source to really get a good feeling for how light and shadow behave on a face. This exercise is so great because it keeps you from thinking about all these advanced considerations like halftones, reflected light, or even a second light source. It really makes you focus on the fundamentals first. To make this process even easier, you can think about it in two steps. First, draw the form shadows, which are shadows caused by a plane being turned away from the light. And only after that, think about the cast shadows, which are shadows caused by an object blocking the light and throwing a shadow on the head. In this case, the nose, the eye sockets, the lips and the chin. Combining these two will lead to the final product. If you have no idea at all how to do that, I have some videos covering the basics of shading faces. The links will be in the description of this video. You should kinda notice that even using just two values, these heads start to look somewhat three-dimensional already. And you can kinda check that by disabling the outlines one by one. Can you see how they already look somewhat believable? That's the goal for this exercise. When you get comfortable doing this, you can of course increase the difficulty by using more values. You can do it with 3 values, which is one step harder. It's still doable, of course, but it's one more decision you have to make. Not only is this plane bright or dark, but how dark is it? And of course, the more values you add, the more difficult it becomes. Just keep in mind though that I wouldn't recommend to you to use more than 5 values, because at some point it's just too much and defeats the purpose of the exercise, which is to simplify. Light and shadow is complicated, but you can make it simple by using only 3 to 5 values. To practice yourself, visit my website for some free drawings of the Asaro head. The link will be in the description below. These exercises can really help you get the basics down fast and improve your shading quickly. But at some point you gotta move beyond the Asaro head, because there is more to painting heads than this. Real faces obviously consist of bones, muscle and fat. And these 3 in combination create many more little shapes and subtle shape changes that are just not visible in the Asaro head. So at some point you gotta move beyond this and study from life and from reference images. So go ahead and Google some portraits and look at the lighting and shading. Look at the shadow patterns that the light creates and compare these to the Asaro head. You will notice that they are pretty similar, but of course a real face has way more roundness to it and isn't as angular. What you can and should also do is study your own face, really. Touch it, feel it, and light it yourself. After all, studying from life can be very effective because you get real and instant feedback from a real light source and not just one snapshot from one lighting situation. To get even better at shading, I have several more videos that you can check out right here.